you can spend 2-3 hours freezing, walking up and down the bank, casting, looking for the skipjack. Or you can do what I'm going to talk about. The other morning it was snowing. It was probably less than 20 degrees out. I went out to my local steam plant to catch skipjack for catfish bait. You hear about people using hot dogs and chicken soaked in Kool-Aid, or Billy Bob's barbecued pickled liver, whatever other weird thing. That's because most folks think that catfish are just bottom feeders who will eat anything. And reality is that catfish are an apex predator, oftentimes the apex predator out here on these river systems. To give you the best chance of catching the biggest catfish in that body of water, you want to put the best bait possible in front of them. Here where I'm at in Tennessee, skipjack. 9.5 times out of 10, skipjack is going to be the better bait, at least what I've found. There are some folks, and even some circumstances, where bluegill is the better bait, or even gizzard shad. I am limited to catching skipjack from the bank. You go to the steam plant, and there are certain spots that produce more than others, but they're not always a guarantee. I went on Facebook Marketplace the other day because I had this idea of using one of those castable sonars, like the Deeper Pro, or I think Garmin makes the Striker Cast, I think is what it's called, and using that to not necessarily locate the skipjack, but locate the bait fish, because where there's bait fish, that's where you're most likely to find the skipjack. And what I did is I took it out there and we cast it out and let the current take it. Doing that, I found the beginning of a school of bait fish, and I let it keep going, and I could tell where the school of bait fish ended. And also that gave me the depth that they were holding at. So initially when I went out, it was still dark, and the school of bait fish that I found were holding on the bottom. I didn't see any specks or dots or arches or nothing above them. So I didn't think there were any skipjack around. I didn't see anything busted on the surface yet. So I decided to walk down to the mouth of the discharge and repeat the same process. Cast it out, found the beginning of a school. They were sitting higher up in the water column, 5-6 feet from the surface. There was also a bunch of birds down there. I think they were pelicans.
It's like a pelican.
And I saw them just plunging their head in the water, smoking what I'm assuming were shad. And I could see little things busting here and there. Started casting my sabiki rig where I had mapped out the school of bait fish above where the bait fish were sitting. So I had, I think, a 5 or 6 foot space. I just counted down and gave it like a 3 count for my sabiki rig to sink, and then started a retrieve and just played with the cadence of it. Ended up pulling 2 skipjack out of that spot. And after a while, the bite died, so cast that sonar back out there, found that the school of bait fish had disappeared. So decided to pack up and walk back over to the other side of the discharge to another spot that I knew produced. And on my way over, I could see some stuff busting on the top, and get there, same thing, cast the sonar out there. What else I noticed that I hadn't noticed before, and I went back and looked in some video and found that there was a huge temperature difference on this side of the bank where I was at. So when I first got out there, first thing in the morning, it was about 50 degrees on the other side of the bank. Even out there at the mouth, I cast out into the main channel, it was 38 degrees. Cast straight out into the discharge, it was about 50 degrees. And then when I moved to the other side, where I was seeing more of them bust, it was 58, I think 59 degrees at the most. Huge temperature difference, and kind of made sense why they would be over here being so much more active than I anticipated for how cold it was. By having that castable sonar, I was able to determine the depth they were at and better narrow down where I should be fishing. The school of bait fish were holding about 3 or 4 feet below the surface, so I started casting my sabiki rig out there, just kind of at a medium retrieve, just enough to keep it up above that school of bait fish basically. And almost right away started getting hammered with it. Probably sat there in about 30 minutes, caught a dozen skipjack, which is pretty good from the bank. So the Deeper Pro, brand new, lists for, I don't know, $150, I think. I don't know, I'll put a screenshot of it up here, show you what it actually costs, brand new. And like I've talked about in other videos, I went looking in Facebook Marketplace and I found this thing for $50. I had to drive 20 minutes to go pick it up. Works perfect. definitely made my morning of trying to catch skipjack much more productive in the limited amount of time that I had. You know, steam plants are usually the money spot. The warm water discharge attracts the bait fish, attracts the predator fish. You know, in the spring, the warmer months, I will be doing the same thing at the dam nearby where I go during the warmer months to try and catch skipjack for catfish bait. There's another spot you can go to, mouths of creeks and marinas, catch skipjack, but definitely helps you make better use, more efficient use of your time to catch bait when you're able to narrow down where to be casting. If anybody else has tried this, had any different experiences, please comment below. Or if you have any other methods of catching skipjack, please drop it in the comments. I am always looking for a way to shorten the amount of time that I have to spend catching bait whenever I'm catfishing. So as always, thanks for watching.